I was catfished by my own fiance, but I want to marry him anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, very nervous. Very nervous.
Well, shows like 90 Day Fiancé showcase finding love in an unconventional way, but sometimes you have to open your mind and your heart to find the perfect mate. And that's where our next guest comes in. Ben Eyes helps couples come together from all over the globe. So welcome, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Rachel. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you. If you've been looking for love in Las Vegas and, can't find it, sometimes, like you said, you have to go a little to geographically undesirable for romance, but sometimes it works out.
Right. Yeah, exactly. International dating's really taken off.
And basically, tell me too, that's how you met your wife, right? That's kind of your story.
Right. We met online about 13 years ago, and that was almost the easy part. And we had to figure out how to get her here, and that was where I saw the need for the company.
And so basically there's some new research out, some data that you've discovered basically about looking online and like kind of expanding your horizons when it comes to finding love.
Well, that's right. We commissioned a report because we had all this data, which we never share or sell or anything, but we thought there would be some insights in there. And sure enough, we were kind of surprised by some of the data points, a lot of interesting stuff. And one of the things we learned was about 55% of our customers, which I think is probably pretty representative of nationwide, they meet online.
And you said also, too, not just online, but you said really an interesting subset of that is online gaming. A lot of people are finding love through that.
Right. World of Warcraft's the biggest game, but all across both online gambling, online gaming is another way. You know, wherever people come together, romance is going to bloom sometimes, and so we're definitely seeing that in the numbers.
And of course we see shows like 90 Day Fiancé and people who get married after, and people are obviously suspect of motives,
Right.
but
Sure.
that's not always the case, and people really are finding legitimate relationships like you did in other countries, overseas, or just putting themselves out there in different ways.
Well, that's right. We find people to be very sincere. If you're going to take the step of trying to find a spouse overseas, you're probably serious. You're not going to casually date internationally. So we do see that these people tend to be marriage focused and sincere, and you have to show the government a couple of years later, 2 years later, that you're still together even. So it's a genuine way to find a loved one. If you're inclined to travel, it's even better. That was my story.
What is your advice, since you've been through that? If you do find love, like you said, through one of these, online
Right.
sites, or if you guys both like, different video games or whatever it is, you have those mutual interests, and then you meet, what would be your advice then after that next step?
Well, you're going to have a lot of documentation, so you need to be communicating a lot, which is important in any relationship, right? So there needs to be a lot of talking. Nowadays, that's so easy with chat and free phone calls internationally and all that. So it just probably the same as any relationship, you need to communicate a lot because you're making a big commitment. You're going to bring that person here. Now they're here. So, you really want to put in the time, visit a lot if you can, but that's expensive. But put in that time. It's so easy to chat, video chat, and Skype call, whatever you're going to do. But
maybe once they get here, they'll have a long engagement, so there's lots of personal, because people
Right.
can be lovely, sometimes on video chat and,
That's right.
on the phone or online, but maybe some real, time together first, right?
Absolutely, you have to.
Yeah.
In fact, it's required, but by law, you have to have met physically. You can't just meet online and somebody's coming over. But
That's probably a good rule.
Right, it's a good rule.
Well, I'm glad
It's
it
a
worked
good
out for
idea.
you, and I'm just saying, you know what? You never know. People find love in all different ways, so that's another option. Appreciate your time.
Very good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. All right, Alyssa, over to you.